Now we are talking of the test that how we can actually detect the presence of nitrates or a nitric acid in a test tube. So what do we have to do is, suppose if I have a test tube like this, if I have a test tube and here I have this my HNO3 and I want to detect that this given compound is HNO3, what I am going to do it, I am going to heat it, right. So when I will heat it, what do I get? I get H2O, I get NO2, and you know that this NO2 actually gives the brown color fumes. So here if you see the brown fumes, right, the brown fumes, it indicates that it is HNO3. Likewise, I can have this thing again, I can have a metal nitrate also present here. So when I am going to heat it again, it will form metal oxide, it will form the NO2. And you know that this NO2 again has a brown fumes. So we can see that brown fumes coming up, that means it is a metal nitrate. The common test which is actually used is a brown ring test. That is actually a brown ring test. What's that? See, in this what we do is that in the test tube I have HNO3 or a nitrate, because this test is actually for both. So I have HNO3. What I am going to do is, I am going to prepare in a different test tube, I am going to prepare a saturated solution of FeSO4. I am going to prepare a saturated solution of FeSO4. And then what I am going to do is, I am going to heat, after preparing that I am going to cool it, or sorry, first I am going to add H2SO4 concentrated one into it. It will evolve some amount of heat. So we need to cool it, and after cooling we will be just pouring this liquid here from this test tube. Let's make this is something R FeSO4 with concentrated H2SO4. So I am going to pour it here, and we are going to pour in a way that it should not fall drop wise, it should fall in a slanting manner. So here it is falling down. So when it falls down, so what actually reaction happen is FeSO4 react with H2SO4, and in that we earlier have HNO3. They are all going to react and form Fe2SO4 whole thrice with NO plus H2. This is what we are going to get is. And then this FeSO4 is going to react with this NO, right, forming FeSO4 dot NO. This is actually the brown ring compound. So what happened is, so when again I am telling you that we took HNO3 here, we prepared a saturated solution of FeSO4, we added H2SO4 and then we cooled it, and then we in a slanting manner we poured into it. So after some time what do we get to see? That there is a brown ring formed between the two solutions. Like suppose this is my first part, let's say this is my first part, this is my second part, and in the middle what we get to see is that here is a brown color ring. This is a brown color ring, and this brown color ring is nothing but FeSO4 dot NO, that is the nitrosyl compound. So this is what is a brown ring test. So that means if the brown ring is formed, it actually confirms that the given substance is a nitric acid, or you can say is a metal nitrate. And a few things you have to keep in mind, that we will be using a freshly prepared FeSO4, because if we won't use the freshly prepared FeSO4, it will get decomposed to form the the ferric sulfate, so it will not form a brown ring. Second is that you need to see that the brown ring is always formed in the middle, right. And the third thing, very important thing, is that when these are going to react, like if a brown ring is formed, you don't need to disturb that actually, because if you disturb it, the heat evolved actually disturbs that brown ring, and the brown ring just vanishes off. So you need to take care that when the ring is formed, you don't need to disturb, or you do not need to actually you can shake or move the test tube, otherwise the ring will get disturbed, or it is an unstable compound and the heat that evolved will just disturb the ring. So this is actually a brown ring test. So I think it's clear that how you can detect the nitric acid or how you can detect the nitrate, simply by first is the evolution of the brown fumes, that on heating, because they all evolve NO2, and second is the brown ring test. And likewise we can add copper chips also to a test tube. Like if I have a HNO3, I am adding a copper chips, we know that on reaction it will be forming a metal nitrate, and along with that we will get a reddish brown color fume gas, that is the NO2. So these are actually the tests you need to be well versed with. So this with this we finishes the nitric acid and the nitrates.